Hi, this is another continuation of the index ring that I'm putting on the Tay cross slide, a zeroing ring, and I think you can see it there. My original idea was to put silicone sealant in a L-shaped hole uh, that was here. I had a plug in there and another plug that went in through, and I filled it up with silicone. The trouble was that it had to be such a good fit, otherwise when you put any pressure on the silicone it came up out of around the sides of the plug. So I had to scrap that idea, and what I went with was I'll be putting some drawings up on later on. This thing is almost finished now. What I did was I made up another Delrin plug with a angle on the bottom, and I opened up the hole a bit and made a pin that was not tight in the hole, and another angle on the end of that pin, so that when I screwed this in it pushed the pin forward, and the two angles met together and one pushed the Delrin up, and in doing so it allowed the ring to be locked. One of the things with the silicone was that it wouldn't release enough to make the ring loose to turn for zeroing. So now it works really nice. It just takes a little nip with this screw. I've got to make a new thing up here for a nice little hand wheel, or even maybe just a lever to tighten and undo. And it's just a little, and that's lock solid. So you just give this screw a little turn and it's loose. And when you've zeroed up, you just turn it maybe very little, and it locks the ring up. So that's where I've got so far. Now what I'm doing here is I've taken the back part that goes into the cross slide, screws into the cross slide with the bearing there, and that goes on like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mill a hole in this part here, maybe 3/16 diameter, and that will allow me to make a Delrin plug up that will sink into that hole, a nice fit, and then I'll be able to put a line with the red nail polish, and that will give me the datum that I need. So that's what I'm doing now. I've marked it while it was set up in the lathe, so I have the vertical mark where the end mill is going to go in, and I've just centralized the housing up to find the center of the ball bearing, and I thought I'd just leave this in here just to, I've done it before, I know I put it on other videos, but I just thought I'd add this in. This is how I find centers, because I've got used to it. I could have used a wobbler or something like that, but I've got used to using this over the years, and so this is how I find my centers. And even if I wanted to find that edge, I could do that as well, just by using a block pushed up against there and taking a reading with my dial indicator, turning it round 180 degrees and coming down on this face, and by moving the y-axis I would eventually find the dead center of that edge, that face. So it's just another way of doing things. It's probably old-fashioned now, but I've done it all these years, and so I just thought I'd give you another little demonstration. This unit here, it's just behind these two screws there's little springs, tiny little springs, and inside there is a little brass plate between the two dovetails, the male and female, and it's actually just a slide on the dovetail, but you have to use a little bit of pressure, so once you've moved it, it really doesn't move, not unless you knock it. So the total measurement of this is about 4 inches. This block here I think is 1.5 inches. That's about 3/4 of an inch across, and it's not very deep, and it has it swivels. The dial indicator swivels in and out. I'll show you that in a minute. I'll just give you another little demonstration of what you have to look for when you're finding the center. Okay, I hope you can see the dial. Now if I rock that dial backwards and forwards, you will notice that it rocks backwards and forwards, down and then back up again, and that's actually the furthest part of that diameter on that side. So if you can think about it, if you turned it round and got the same reading on that side as well, then you would eventually get the center of that round piece. So that's what, when you're doing this, that's what you have to look for. I'm not going to show you the other side because it means I'll have to move the camera, and I've already set it up so it's all ready. I could give you just a quick demonstration to try and find the where are we? I'll do with it. The edge of this. So the first thing I do is I swing it round and just look at the stylus and wind it roughly to the edge that I want to find. That's fairly close, I guess. So then what I'd do is I'd wind it down until the stylus moves. It's around 0. Now you see that's running around 0. Then I would wind this up and twist it, and then if you imagine putting that up against that face and doing the same thing on that face by moving this y-axis, you'll actually come to where the center of the spindle is, right on the face of that piece in the vise. So that's just another way of finding, dialing in holes, dialing in edges, datum edges. You know, that's what we used to do years ago. we did have a little block as well that had magnets on it, and you could put it up against the side and do the same thing in between a slot that was central. Both faces were central about the face that had the magnet in it, and you could just twist it and twist it and twist it until you moved the axis and got the same reading on both sides, and that again will give you a datum edge. We used to do that all the time. So that's what I'm going to show you there. There's not much to this little holder. It was fairly easy to make. I had to do a bit of development work again. Most of these things are from memory, and come on. Yeah, most of these things are from memory. The dial indicator, that's about, I bought that dial indicator, it's a Verdict. That was about, when I was about 24 years of age. That was my first dial indicator. Since now I've got another three, but I use this most of the time. I leave it set in there, and it works fine. This white plastic, it's called, oh boy, what was it called now? I can't remember the name of it. You can't buy it anymore. It's nice stuff. Nice stuff to machine, and it's pretty tough. Anyway, that just by undoing that allows the indicator to swivel backwards and forwards, and of course you can come right out to this end and you can swing a bigger diameter, and there's a little hole in the end of the handle where I put a Allen key, a small Allen key that screws into the brass ferrule there, or brass tube, and that allows me to undo the indicator and pull it out, or turn it to another position, whatever. And then this just nips it up and keeps everything nice and tight. So that's a nice little project for somebody. It's not professional by any means, but it does a good job. So this indicator, it must be, I've used this probably 1,000 times, it may be more, and I bought this when I'm 24, so it's about 60, yeah, about 55, 60 years old, and it's never been touched, never been cleaned. It still works perfectly. It's got the old clip, you know, for changing the direction of the stylus, but you know, if you look after your stuff and treat it with a bit of care, it'll last. It should last a long time. So that's gonna be the end of this video, short video. When I get this all finished, I've got it all fitted up on the shaft, and moving freely and working well. But now I have to attach the ball handle to the shaft, which is sticking out longer, so I have to cut that to a certain length on the lead screw, and then I have to come up with some idea of locating the ball screw onto the shaft. Maybe like a dog clutch, and then the ball screw will be tightened on through the centre with a 256 screw, and that should take any stress away from the screw, fitting like a dog, you know, just a small, like a key kind of fit, and that should eliminate any stress on the screw and the ball screw, the ball handle when I'm turning and unturning. So that's my next thing. So I'm just going to do this now, and um, I'll get back to you. Thank you.